Hello, if you're like me and you're always looking for new ways to combine ingredients to make special dishes, then this video is for you. I have coined this dish Veggie Dodo and I'll be showing you how I made it. My name is Anu. Welcome to my kitchen. So the first thing that I'm showing you that we use is plantains, and I use two of them. I also use some vegetables, so some spring onions. I think I used about 3 or 4. Yeah, I think 4 stalks. And then I used some red bell peppers. I used 2 of them. And then in this dish was also 2 jalapeno peppers, and these were the only source of heat in this sauce. I used 1 whole onion, about a medium size, and 4 tomatoes, and these were regular Roma tomatoes. And I used 1 green bell pepper. I also used some chicken that I cut up, and then some spinach. You can use whatever vegetable you have. And then for seasoning, I used 2 seasoning cubes and some salt, and that's all we use for seasoning. And then to fry the plantains, we'll need some oil. We also use some of this oil to saute the vegetables. So let's start cooking. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is to cut up the plantains. And while I cut up the plantain as well as the vegetables, I'm going to be telling you guys a story as usual. So in this story, there are 4 characters and their names all start with a T. So the first person is Tony, Todd, Tiffany, and Tim. So it happened that Todd and Tiffany were in a relationship. Now, Tony was a friend to Tiffany and he also liked Tiffany. But remember, Todd and Tiffany were the ones in a relationship. Now, Tim was a mutual friend to Tony and Todd. So there are 3 guys and a girl in this story. So it happened that because Tony liked Tiffany, he was trying to get her in any possible way. So it happened that he started, kind of bad mouthing Todd to his friends, and Tim got to hear. Now, because Tim is a mutual friend to both Tony and Todd, he went ahead and told Todd about what Tony was saying about him. Now, Todd heard and then came to tell Tiffany. Now, Tiffany wasn't very happy that Tony was bad mouthing her boyfriend. So Tiffany went to meet Tony, and she, instead of her flaring up and just saying how angry she was and expressing it by shouting, she just went and told Tony that, what, in a very calm way, she told Tony and said, I don't like what you did. This is what you did, and it is not good. And Tony was surprised that Tiffany Tiffany handled the situation so maturely and so calmly, and that even made Tony more interested in Tiffany. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that at this point in the story, you already know who Tiffany is. Yes, Tiffany was Anu. This was what happened to me real life when I was in the university. There were 2 guys that were interested in me, and I promise you guys, I'm not going to tell all this kind of stories anymore. I don't know why, but I feel awkward saying the stories that happened, especially when it has to do with like a guy liking a girl and all those things. Yeah. So I promise this is the last this kind of story. This is the last one of this kind of story. So, and that brings us to today's Bible verse, which applies to the story that I just told you. And we can apply it in our everyday life, and it is taken from the book of Proverbs chapter 15 from verse 1, and I'm reading in the King James Version. It says, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. there's sometimes that you just want to retaliate and say what's on your mind, and rightfully so, because you're angry that person has wronged you. But the next time this happens, I want you to take a step back and, refrain from saying any hurtful words. And instead of saying hurtful words, respond with soft answers. So in a pan, I'm going to be adding some oil that we'll be using to fry the plantains. Now that all the vegetables and the plantains have been cut up, we want to start first by frying the plantains. And I just put one in to kind of test if the oil was hot enough, and it was pretty hot. So I put in the plantains, and my plantains that I used, they were actually very ripe if you want, and that's how I like them. Actually, I like them very ripe. You see how they turn out after being fried. They're pretty golden brown and very nice, like crunchy, and that's how I like my plantains. If you like them whole and not too ripe, that's perfectly fine as well, but this is how I like them: mushy brown. And I like to fry them until they're very brown, like almost burnt. Yeah, that's how I like them. And they're very tasty. They're like candy. So after frying the plantains, we'll take that off the stove, and then we'll start by, in a pan, we'll add a little oil. Remember, we used some oil for fried plantains, so you don't want too much oil. And then the first thing that I'm doing is to fry the chicken, and you can see that they're still a little red. They were parboiled a little, just a little, and that's why they still have the redness. And I did that on purpose so that they don't overcook. So at this point, I'm just frying them until they lose all the redness. And then after they've been fried for a while, I'll be adding the vegetables, and I'm adding all of them at once. So the onions, the tomatoes, and the bell peppers and the jalapenos, and we're just going to fry that for a while until they're sauteed. So before we cover the vegetables to cook for a while, we'll be adding the seasoning cubes and the salt. And then I just mixed it together so that they can all marry together and get seasoned. And while we're doing that, I just wanted to encourage you to follow me on Instagram at Anu Green. There I will be showing you or sharing pictures and Bible verses along the week. So if you're looking for a source of inspiration along the week for food, you should follow Anu Green. And it is now an open page, so you don't have to request to follow this Instagram page. So after cooking for a while, I'm just adding in the spinach that I have cut up, and we're pretty much done with this dish. It's pretty simple, and just all the colors are coming together, and at this point, in actual fact, this is a whole sauce on its own. You can have this with whatever you like. It is healthy, and the vegetables are still crunchy. It's got some protein. It was just a very lovely dish. And so after adding the spinach, we'll be adding the plantains and then the spring onions. We're not going to forget that. So after adding the spinach, which you shouldn't allow to cook for too long, probably 1 minute, and then you can add the plantains. So we're just gonna, and don't be afraid that there's a little sauce, like a little liquid in the sauce. The plantains will soak up all that sauce. So this is where I'm stirring in the dodo, which is what we call plantains, fried plantains in Nigeria. So we call fried plantains dodo, and you can have dodo by itself. You can have it as a side for any dish, but we're just taking it to the next level by combining with all these vegetables. So this is me adding the spring onions just to finish it up. And after stirring and letting it simmer for about a couple of minutes, this dish is ready, and you can have it with whatever you like. You can have it with rice, and you can have it with maybe spaghetti. Maybe I haven't tried it, but I feel like it would go with anything, or you can have it you can just have it by itself, like eat it as a meal, because it's complete in itself. Yeah, so if you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to try it, you should try it and let me know if you try it. Yeah, thank you for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.